Hey everybody, and welcome to this lesson on one of my songs from Raven Eye, a tune called Wanna Feel You. This is the opening track of our album Nova. A lot of you are asking about this one for guitar tab, so I figured why not start with this song and then get to the rest of the album. With this song, there's really like 5 sections, and at the most. So you've got the verse, the chorus, the middle 8, you've got this little drop section, which actually is in Dadgad, but I've written out some tabs so that we can kind of imitate it. And then there's the B chorus right at the very end, where everything kind of straightens up. The main thing about this song is it's all about the feel. The clues in the title, like, it's really about being behind the beat and being quite lazy and sluggish. The tuning is kind of representative of that as well. So we're half a step down with a drop C sharp. So your E string is dropped down. I guess if you're in standard tuning, your E string is dropped down a tone and a half. So we've got C sharp, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat, E flat. Everything is dark sounding. So you've got this nice sound. I really love drop tunings for that. So we're going to start with section 1, which is the verse and the verse feel. Before we get into the actual pattern, there's one thing that we should be working on, which is muting with our hand and also muting with our finger to get everything quite tight. So if we go from our right hand first, our picking hand, or left hand, I guess if you're left-handed, what we're looking at doing is placing our hand between the bridge pickup and between the bridge saddle, only really gently. So all we're doing is trying to get this sound going. If you go too hard, well, one, it's just ridiculously uncomfortable, and you don't need to press hard to get that. But everything gets a lot tighter, and there's a nice low end, the kind of little extra boost that you get from doing this palm muting, and that's what we're really trying to aim for when we're doing the riff. All right, and then there's a second technique, which is with your index finger, and all we're doing is muting the notes after we finish the riff. So what you're seeing is that's all it is. So between you muting with your palm and then here, you're gonna get. Now for the actual pattern, how to play it, I use my 3rd finger on the A string on the 5th fret, and then my pinky on the G string on the 5th fret to get that sound, and then I'm pulling off with my index finger. When it comes to the pattern, and then, so I'm using my 3rd finger, 5th fret, and then back to. When I open up the track on the record, it's all open, so it's. But when it came to live, it didn't feel like anything got big enough. So that's why now, actually, when you see our live shows, I go really tight with it, and as tight as I can. Now, if you find that a bit difficult and awkward, you can just forgo the pinky completely and just have your 3rd finger on the A string and then use your index finger on the E string. So go. But I'd say the sooner you can get comfortable with this, it's going to feel a lot more satisfying. So that's the first section. Now obviously when you get to the chords and the verse, all it is a really simple power chord. With the drop tunings, it's really nice because you can just, the first 3 strings are really easy to play a chord with. So all it is a bar on the 3rd fret on the E, A, and D string. But then for me, I find that dark, like you can play that there. I find it a little dark, so what I do is I put my pinky on the 5th fret, so when we're in the 3rd fret, I basically a tone higher than where the bar is on my 1st finger. And what it's going to do is you're going to add that. You can hear that extra bit of. Well, it just really helps add a lot more kind of brightness to it. So instead of going, you've got. Now if you want to, you can take it another notch higher and you can make things a little bit brighter. If you bar the E, A, and D, so we're on the 3rd fret doing the F sharp, and then you're going to put your 3rd finger on the G string on the 5th fret, that's instead of the pinky, and then you're going to put the pinky on the 6th fret of the B string. So then you're going to get this sound. So that's 3 variations you can do with this. Or So you can hear the varying levels of brightness. Now for me, I wouldn't usually go to for a verse because I feel like that's adding a lot of brightness to it that I want to save for the chorus so everything opens up. So what we have for the verse is so what you'll notice though, there's one subtle thing that we do when we play this verse, is that every time you introduce the chords, that little line is always straight. So everything's swung. And then straight. So it really clarifies that moment of that song that is going into that section. So that's what you got to be aware of, is that everything's swung until we're going into that first. So you're really getting that grind, and down pick it. Don't up and down pick. So make it sound really jarring by just going. No alternate picking. So that's going to get you the first section down. We're then going to the chorus. So the chorus is quite basic. It's just power chords. So what you'll notice on the tab is there's a couple of rakes in there. The one thing about rakes is that they're habits that guitarists can get into that don't help the groove or help the feel, because they're kind of pointless and they don't serve much, or they're very out of time. What you want to be focusing on when there are rakes is to be really locked in with the feel of the song. I like to do rakes because I like to try and add more to the snare jumps. Maybe I want to get the snare hit, so that's when I hit a rake. Or usually for a snare hit, it's a chord to make it sound big, and I'm kind of working on the counter rhythms. So everything you do as a player, everything you aim for has to have timing, has to have purpose. Fills it out a bit more as well because we're a three-piece, so we don't have that many layers of tones. We wanted to keep this album sounding quite raw, like it's still the three of us playing. So those kind of little nuances can help you sound bigger and sound a lot more full and a bit more rhythmically exciting. All right, the third section is the bridge. The bridge is the fun part. I love this. I love this chord, which is basically what you want to be doing is barring with your whole finger. Now this can be uncomfortable, but the payoff is huge. And then so that's the bridge itself. If you want to, you could just play and then stop. Or if you really want to kind of go the extra mile, what I like to do with riffs and single note riffs is I like to kick on an octave. So I'll show you what I do usually, which is basically the chords stay pure, and then so basically every time I hit the chord, I'll turn the octave off. It's a bit fiddly, but what I like about that is that it adds another dimension, another color. So you can have fun with that. I really like hitting an octave on when I'm doing single note riffs because it really can fill out the guitar and make it sound a bit more exciting. So usually on a live show, I'll be switching it because I can, it's there, the board's there, and I've got the ability to, so I love doing that. Take your time with this part. This is one that's really easy to do with the clicks. It's not swung like everything else, so you can really just da 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 da. It's quite linear, there's nothing really crazy going on with it, and that's one thing we really wanted to aim for when we were writing this bridge, is that we wanted it to go very linear and very focused, because everything else has been quite swung and super laid back, but then with this section it was really meant to be about tightening up, everything changing the atmosphere and kind of really bringing in that focus of everything, and everything feeling a lot more unison, like the bass is joining in with the riff, everyone's together on it. Right, then we've got the fourth section. Now, when we recorded this in the studio, this was recorded in Dad Gad. We had a different guitar for it, but we can do a similar version, which is basically so all I've done is turn the volume down on the guitars, it's nice and soft. Right, and all we're doing there is for the D, we've got our first finger on the G string on the 2nd fret, and then our 3rd finger on the B string on the 3rd fret. And then from the very low D, C sharp, strum that chord. And then you're going to get your middle finger, and then you're going to put it on the 3rd fret of the A string. So you've got the first 2 chords there. And then you're going to come up to the 5th fret on the E string. You're going to be using your middle finger, and then you're going to be using your 3rd finger on the D string on the 5th fret, and then your index finger on the G string on the 4th fret. And then you're just going to move it down 1 tone. Now I like to have the chords sounding quite open here. It sounds even nicer in DADGAD, but obviously we're not going to change to a completely different tuning like at the click of a finger. It's just not possible. So you can let some of those notes ring and sound quite dissonant. It's quite a nice vibe. So what you've got here is snare, and then goes into the chorus. Now you'll see in the full playthrough there's a couple of weird different time signatures. Don't worry too much about that. It's more of a listening thing. You'll hear it, and you'll hear when the snare comes in. Don't worry about having to feel like you need to learn time signatures to just play this song. It's really such an inconsequential part that you can kind of wait till that's over and then go on to the next piece. Right, and then finally we have the B chorus. So you've got the normal chorus. Alright, the only thing that changes on the B chorus is that everything straightens up on the first half. So same chords, but now instead of going down, 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 we're going down, 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 down. So everything's gone linear again. So we've got so really the first 3 chords, that's when it's straight, and then after that we go back to the looseness. And that's it. That's the whole song. You've got everything there, you've got the whole palm muting to get used to. That's what we want. And then palm muting is the best. You get so much thickness out of it. Have fun with it. You've got 2 forms of tab. You've got one that just shows the 5 sections, so you can just play along and just learn those 5 sections and you'll know the song. But if you want a bit more guidance, I've written out the entire tab for the whole song down to every bar, so you can play along and you won't miss a beat. You can see the whole tab and play the whole song through and you'll be completely set. Now the guitar solo is completely improvised. I didn't write that one out, I scripted it, so I will be doing the tab for that. I need to get back into my head from 4 years ago and learn it again and figure it out, and then I can tab it out for you and explain what my process was. Because I remember having a mindset and what we were trying to achieve with that solo and what we were going for. But for now, get stuck in these chords. Definitely post your videos in the group of you learning the song or you actually rocking out the song. Now you know the chords, you've got the tab. I'd love to see it. And I look forward to giving you so many more lessons in the future. But for now, I will see you back in the group.